Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're going to do a lovely, we're going to say about 15-ish minutes, mainly focus on the lower body stretch mobility. So you need nothing but yourself, mat space, and we are good to go. We are going to start ourselves in a beautiful child's pose. So take your knees nice and wide on your mat, take your toes to touch, and then press your hips back towards your heels. Just notice how that feels. Maybe staying upright feels good for you. If you're feeling good, you can walk it forward to your full child's pose position. Walk the fingers forward, rest that forehead down on the mat. I just want you to take about 5 slow, deep inhales and exhales here. Thinking of breathing into that low back, breathing into the hips, and having that full expansion through the belly and all through the ribs, back ribs and front ribs both. So big breath in, full exhale. Nice and slow, do about 2 more just like that. Big breath in, big exhale. One more time, just as you are, big breath in, and big breath out. Okay, we're gonna walk those hands over to your right. Take your left hand and place it on top of your left, and then I want you to think of driving your left hip back as you drive your left hand down onto the right. So really feeling that nice lateral stretch there along the whole left side. Breathing here for 3, for 2, those are really good, and for 1. Okay, coming back through center all the way through over to your left side. So same thing, right hand comes on top of left. Think of really driving into that right hip towards that right heel. Feeling that nice stretch along the left side. Breathing there for 3. Really driving down with that right arm for 2. And for 1. Okay, making your way back through center. This time, you're going to leave your right hand forward. You're going to take that left arm and reach it underneath and over to the left. You can rest your left temple down onto the floor. You can leave your right arm up overhead, or if it feels okay, take your right hand and rotate it around towards that low back, or maybe even reaching into that left hip crease, getting that twist. You want to think of opening right shoulder, not letting it drop. So you're reaching it up unless you're keeping that right arm up overhead. Breathe there, keep reaching your left fingers, keep pressing that left shoulder down, press your hips back towards your heels. All of the things here, breathing for 3, for 2, and for 1. Wherever you are, take that right hand back up overhead, join your left arm to meet your right. Just stay in that child's pose for 1 more breath. Big inhale, and big exhale. Other side, right arm reaches underneath of that left, right temple comes down towards your mat. You can keep the fingertips up overhead, or take that arm, rotating it around, taking that low left hand, towards the low back, or maybe around that right hip crease. Again, trying to open up that shoulder, reach those right fingertips as far as you can through. You'll get a nice stretch through the scapula, through that shoulder blade. Breathing here for 3, for 2, and for 1. Okay, coming up 1 more time, left hand up overhead, right arm joins, last little child's pose right here, really driving those arms down. I'm just going to rotate myself back around. Okay, breathe 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Okay, make your way up into your tabletop. Sliding those hands in, tucking those toes or untucking them, whatever feels better for those ankles and for the toes. And then from here, we're just going to spend about 30 seconds just in movement. So it doesn't have to look like anything. You're just going to give yourself just what feels good. So listen to your body. Maybe it's stretching through that back body. Maybe it's stretching through the toes. Maybe it's some lateral movement from right to left. Whatever that looks like for you, just feeling it out, finding those little tight spots, moving into them. Keep going there for 3, for 2, and for 1. Making your way back up into your tabletop, neutral table. Again, shoulders stacked, hips stacked, and toes tucked or untucked. Coming into your cat and cows. Oh, here comes the zozo bears. Taking that nice big breath in, lifting the tail, lifting your gaze. Inhale. And then tuck your tail. Pull in the core, round through the spine, cuff your shoulders, drop your chin towards your chest. Do that just 2 more times on your own. Going mindful with eyes closed, maybe really feeling out how that spine is shifting for you. Nice and slow. Take your time, no rush. Give yourself 1 more wherever you are. Big breath in, looking up, arching through that spine. To move my weights, exhale to tuck and round. So good. Okay, from here, we're gonna make our way down all the way to the belly. Make your way all the way down. Take those hands and just place one over top of the other. Just give your hips a wiggle from right to left. So your legs are gonna be about hip distance, shoulder distance apart here. Just notice how the low back is feeling. Obviously, a lot of us carry our attention through our hips in through that low back, or it's chest and shoulders and neck area, 2 common places. So we really want to make sure that we can bring some rest to the hips and low back. From here, we'll take the left arm up in front of the face. We're going to bend through that right leg, reach back with that right arm to come into a quad stretch. Now, I am extremely tight at the moment, so this one's intense for me here. If you can squeeze your right knee in towards your left leg, and then I want you to think of tucking that tail slightly. And then last thing I want you to think about is breathing into the belly. So big inhale, feeling the belly press into the mat, exhale. See if you can stretch a little bit more into that quad. Now resting the forehead down, or maybe it's taking the face down towards your mat. We're gonna hang out here for almost a full minute. So if that means breathing into the belly and then exhaling, trying to pull a little bit deeper into that stretch, listening to the quad, listening to the hips. About 3 more cycles of breath, just as you are. I'm just really trying to release any tightness or tension you might have going on. Taking 1 last breath here. And then slowly releasing that right foot down towards the floor. Take your right hand underneath of the chest and shoulder. Take your left arm out to a nice big T. You're gonna roll over onto that left side. You can leave your left leg straight. Take your right leg in behind you, or you can stack those feet. We're just getting into the chest and the shoulder on this side. If you can take that foot in behind, you might feel a nice little stretch there as well. Maybe it's resting the head down. You have a yoga block. Great place for that. Breathing into that left chest and shoulder. For 3, for 2, and for 1. So good. Rolling back onto the belly. And again, returning to that starting position, taking those hands up by the face, planting one hand on top of the neck, giving that little wiggle from the hips from right to left. And then from there, we'll bend through the left leg, grab a hold of the left foot with that left hand, reaching back best you can. And then again, coming into that breath, noticing how the quads feels for you. Maybe you're feeling that in the low back as well. And then we want to make that connection with the belly. Big breath in and big breath out. We want to stay in this stretch for almost 60 seconds. That's going to be about 4 or 5 seconds of breath, depending on how deep you can make them. Noticing if on those exhales, you can maybe get it deeper into that stretch. We'll take 1 more breath in together here. Big inhale. And big exhale. When you are ready, slowly releasing that left foot down. Give your left hand below the chest, below the shoulder. Right arm out to that T. Maybe it's a cactus for you if you have an open chest. We're going to roll over onto that right hip. Left foot is going to come up and over. Again, getting that stretch through that right side. Breathing here for 3. Taking the left foot up and over or stacking for 2. And for 1. Slowly making your way back onto the belly. Okay, give yourself 1 last little rock from right to left. just releasing anything that might be going on through those hips and low back. Okay, when you are ready, take the hands underneath the shoulders, press yourself up and back, give yourself a little child's pose to counter stretch. Take the knees narrow this time to touch, press the hips back, walk those hands forward. We're just gonna stay here for just 2 breaths. Feeling that round through the low back. And then when you are ready, make your way back up into your tabletop. Okay, we're gonna do some hip rotations or hip cars, the controlled articulated rotation through the hip. So, option here, if you have anything going on in the wrists, you can also do this one down in the forearms. And what I want you to try to do is lift that knee out towards the side and then rotate it. Ooh, a little pop for me. Rotate it around nice and slow, keeping the foot in flexion, so pulling the toes in towards the shin and then circling that knee back around and through. Now, the goal here is to only move your leg from the hip. So try not to arch through the back. Try not to move anything else as you rotate it around. We're going to do one more rotation in this direction. Make it nice and big, nice and slow, some serious work. And then we're going to go the other direction. So press the heel up, open the knee out to the side. Oh my goodness. And back through and around. We've got a tired pup over here. We just got back from a walk and it's freezing out. Oh my goodness, winter. One more time. Big rotation all the way up. Open it around. Back down and through. Okay. If you were on those wrists and tabletop, maybe it's giving them a little circle. You can come out of the forearms as well. And then we'll make our way back to do the other side, left leg. Okay, so you're back in your tabletop. That left heel is going to press up. Remember, we want to try to only move from the hip. Now, if that means the rotations are smaller, no problem. We want to focus on only hip movement here, trying not to get into that low back as much as possible. You're going to have movement for sure. You're just doing your best to eliminate it as small as possible. Okay, one more in this direction. Feeling those little crunchies maybe, pops and the little cracks throughout. Change the direction, go the opposite way. I did the reverse way to start, which is funny for the other side. So just change your direction. Maybe you're doing the opposite to me. No problem. We're gonna do one more in this direction. Big circle around. Oh my goodness. Okay. Again, from there, come out of those wrists, give a little shake, a little circle, whatever you need to do. So we've prepped the hips with a couple of things. We did a nice wide child's pose. We did our quad stretch. We did our rotation there, and then we did those hip cars. We're gonna make our way into frog next. Now, if frog is uncomfortable for you, you can come into happy baby, laying on the back, pulling those feet down nice and wide, knees by your side. If you have knee sensitivity, and that's your reason to not do frog, you can also take little towels, little cushions, and place them below the inside of those knees. Okay, so setting up your frog, we take the feet so that the heels are in line with the knees or slightly wider. This one's going to be tough for me tonight. I can already tell the tightness, and we have a dog in the way. Okay, so those hands can start off below the chest, below the shoulders. And all we're going to just do is do a little gentle rock forward and back. So I just want you to be aware of how the hips are feeling here, how the inner thigh and groin is feeling here. And as you take the hips back, you're going to notice that there's a bit more intense of a stretch there. We're just slowly coming out and slowly pressing in. Now, if you feel okay here, you can now make your way down to those forearms and slightly continue those rocks. Shoulders come forward, exhale those hips back. Rocking it forward, taking it back. A couple more times here, and then we're just going to come into a static hold and really focus on the breath, focus on the hip opener, all of the things. Okay, so when you are ready, come into your stillness. You can be up on those hands. Maybe you're on those forearms. If you're in happy baby, just holding, just breathing. We're going to stay for about 15 more seconds, 2 more cycles of breath. Filling the space again, same thing with child's pose, filling the belly, feeling the expansion of the ribs. Wow, that is intense. Taking one more breath in and full exhale out. making your way back up onto your hands and then slowly out of your frog pose. Wow. Okay. So lots of external for the frog pose. So now we're just going to let those knees coming to a sitting position, take your hands in behind you, and then just let those knees come inwards. So we're doing the complete opposite internal. Let the knees touch. And we're just going to hang out there for a moment just so the hips realize they are safe, they are okay. Frog can be quite intense. Breathing into those legs, into those hips. We are going to finish, well, we have 2 more to do. We're going to do 1 more external stretch here. In a moment, we're just going to let those hips kind of chill for a moment, inner thighs chill for a moment. And we don't do a lot of internal work, especially in some of our workouts too. It's a lot of external. So that internal rest is really nice. Okay, so taking the soles of the feet now towards one another, coming into Baddha Konasana legs, soles of the feet together. Take your hands towards your ankles, and then just maybe giving a little press down if the hips feel okay. Maybe just having the legs in this position for you is intense enough for those hips. If you can add a gentle little pressure to the inside of those knees, amazing. Doesn't have to be anything super intense. Breathe there for 3, for 2. Always practicing her Shavasana for 1. Okay, we're going to take this into a little twist. Take the right hand in behind you, left hand over to the right knee. Think of both knees pressing down here, and just simply taking that gaze over towards the right side. Noticing if you're rounding through that low back, you need to work on a little bit of the hip mobility. Take 1 more breath as you are. And then come back through center, pause at your center, taking both hands back to the ankles, sit yourself up nice and straight, and then take yourself over to the left. Left hand comes in behind, right hand hooks to that knee, taking a big breath in right there, lengthening through that spine. Nice job. 1 more breath in there. And then making your way back in through center, taking those hands to the ankles, take 1 more breath, sit nice and tall, pulling yourself forward. Oh my goodness. And then we're going to lengthen those legs all the way out to finish with a lovely forward fold. Feet come out into extension, flex those toes, take a big breath in, sweep the arms up overhead, and then exhale, folding over those legs, grabbing a hold of what you can, soles of feet, ankles, shins, whatever feels good. You can use a little towel here. You can also round through that back, lengthen through the back, bend through the knees, whatever feels good, really letting go through that back body. And again, returning back to that breath into the low back, into the belly, and around the ribs, breathing here for 3, for 2. Not good timing, everybody. Sorry about that. And for 1, real life. Slowly coming out of that. Oh, amazing, amazing job. We were peaceful until the end. Every little noise is a trigger for her. Amazing job. I hope that helped open up the hips a little bit, getting into that low back. All of the glorious things. Amazing work. Hope to see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whatever it is for you. Bye, everyone.